We need to do our blips from last week.
We do.
Okay. Let's see if we can bat this out of the way real quick. Raazu.
Come back to me.
You had a week to think about this. You had
I have
all
to,
week.
I have to find my notes sheet, dude.
So Adrex wrote his down, and
Okay.
I'm just going to read it without any thought whatsoever.
Excellent.
Okay, go for it.
Alignment belief. It is very important to be good at all times and resist evil because evil sucks. Adrex called out the rat folk on what he perceived to be revenge against Whitesnake rather than what they claim is self-defense. Sure.
Okay.
Bonds. My cool friends and I are working to make the world a better place. It has fallen to me to try and protect them. Oh dear. He jumped into the water to try and freeze the acid tentacles in an effort to save the drinking water.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Birdie.
I don't have anything because I accidentally deleted my blip thing and I don't remember.
Well done. Red.
Alignment, neutral good for working to stop the poison from destroying everything forever, always. Ideal, which is, sorry, I didn't, apparently my notes are much more sparse. Ideal, cold, hard logic will not suffer to argue with those who are motivated by something as fleeting as emotion, for how he was arguing with the rat folk to prevent them from just murdering the snake man. And flaw, Red's flaw is it's often just best to just do what needs to be done. Explaining it to the others would be a waste of time for just jumping into the pool.
Okay.
As well as a blip for my god write-up.
Yes.
Oh.
Windy.
All right, I've got Law and Chaos are misunderstandings of the world's nature for her question of not did the Yuan-ti cause this, but instead, can we say the Yuan-ti caused this because the people needed a familiar enemy in order to calm down, and it's truthful enough.
Okay.
I've got Wait, how does that work? For trying to learn everything she can about how snakes for arms could possibly function. And I've got Redirection for not being any help whatsoever at this meeting, so instead going to where I'm actually useful and going to make food.
Raazu.
Sword arm is only the beginning of a greater world, but is a necessary first step for being intimidating rather than persuasive in getting the rat folk away from the dangerous water.
Okay.
Water, please.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
All right. We give one blip for the most creative solution to a problem last session.
I got this. Adrex for freezing the blob.
Freezing the blob. We give one blip for furthering the party's goals the most last session.
Red for the impromptu theology lesson.
One blip for being a badass.
Raazu for scaring all the poor rat folk.
And one blip for intangibles.
Wendy for her comfort food.
And I didn't set up a straw poll, so nobody gets that.
And plus the video for last week.
Okay. Blips are worth 700 right now. Raazu has 2. Wendy has 4. Adrex has 3. Birdie has nothing.
Huh?
Correct.
Oh, you have 1 for uploading the video.
Right. Okay.
How much are blips worth again?
700.
700.
700.
Have they already gone
And
down,
Red
or
has-
is that next level?
Red has 5. They go down as soon as somebody hits level 11.
Okay.
All right,
And
go ahead and
Raazu,
apply those
she's-
blips right now. If you go over 6, though, don't cash them in for experience till the end of the session.
Oh.
We can cash them in at the end when I actually give out encounter experience for this dungeon and whatnot. Okay, let me delete all those.
Love deleting stuff.
Deleting things isn't this my sole joy in life. I don't have a very exciting life.
Yeah, sounds actually kind of depressing, and we're gonna need you to keep that to yourself from now on.
I don't know, I'm okay with it. I support your minimalistic lifestyle.
Thank you, Nodal. I'm glad someone supports me.
Wow. That was really dark.
You realize he's only supporting you sarcastically, right?
Well, yeah, obviously.
I never do anything sarcastically.
That was so sarcastic.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the last thing that happened,
under like 16 layers of irony.
you guys came into the. Is there been a consensus on Yuan-ti versus Yuan-ti?
I would
Oh,
say
feel like
Yuan-ti.
We go back and
I've
forth.
I don't think anyone's ever gone back and forth.
I've only ever heard Yuan-ti.
One of you guys just said Yuan-ti while we were going through our blips, but I
It was
figured
probably
wasn't.
me.
That's true.
And you
Because
did
like
it
in my head,
sarcastically.
I'm like, oh, that first one makes sense, but then I'm like, wait, but did I just say the second one? So I'm probably just gonna keep going back and forth. If I had
That's
to
fine.
guess.
Nobody
That
begrudges
sounds
you.
like the best. That sounds like the best thing to do. Yes.
Yeah.
What is the most confusing thing we could do?
So you guys came into the Yuan-ti laboratories by way of this underground river. And the first thing you did is you came into this small... I'm sorry, not small, large. I got that way wrong. I could not have gotten that more wrong. Large
Very big.
underwater chamber where you ran into this hydroloth, who you made short work of. And upon opening the 3 boxes in here, you unleashed 3 of these acid blobs into the water, which you then very quickly trapped back inside.
Yes.
The river continues, it flows in from 15, and then through these little rooms, and you guys were coming against the current in order to get into the dungeon. In room number... That's the wrong window. In room number 13, you are deeply beneath the surface of a pool, so you can break the surface in that room. There's also a square hole in the wall here-ish, maybe about 10 feet up off the floor. And unlike the natural caverns that this river has bore through the earth here, this square hole looks very neatly carved. It's 5 foot by 5 foot square. The room you're in now has no surface to it. It is just an underwater cavern. So who has the light source? You guys are carrying your dim blue magic torch.
I think Wendy has been holding on to that, and I think we should probably pass that to someone else for the
Okay.
time being.
Let's get a token out for that in case it becomes important. And yes, the Hydroloth lay dead at your feet. You have your 3 boxes here. Adrex and Raazu, you cannot swim in your heavy armor, but you're able to like walk and climb at about half your movement rate.
All right.
Which is already cut in half once because you're underwater without a swim speed.
Yeah, so
And
this place is pretty bad for us.
with your heavy armor, you would not fit through these square passages. You guys would have difficulty as medium-sized creatures squeezing into them. With your heavy armor, it would be right out.
Okay.
All right.
So, are there any other passages out of room 13?
There is the top of the pool where... Is there any light up there? Good question. Let me find out. Where you can indeed see like a very far away flicker of orange light, distorted and refracted beyond the top of the pool, and then you have the square hole in the wall here-ish.
I mean, I think Birdie could fit into that hole pretty well.
Do you want me to go into the hole and see what's on the other end?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love putting Birdie into holes.
Okay, are you taking a light source with you, Birdie?
Like, sure, I'll take the torch with me. At least they can see me.
Okay.
Bye, Birdie.
You crawl forward, and as you do, this square tunnel is immaculate on each side. The floors and walls and ceilings are very smooth to the touch. Very skilled tunnelers would have had to have made this. But they're submerged. And you head forward a good probably 50 or 60 feet before you come to a T-junction. The tunnel remains square and remains very small as you move through it, but it turns to the left and to the right.
And it's when I look down left and right, how far down can I see? Like, in the confines of my dark vision, can I see anything either left or right?
When you look left, the tunnel continues about maybe 15, 20 feet or so, and then turns downward and descends. When you look to the right, the tunnel continues about the same distance, maybe 15, 20 feet, and then ends when it opens up into another underground cavern, like the one you just left. Your companions at this point are very far behind you. Those of you still standing in the room, you see Birdie as just bathed in blue light, but very far away from you. And if he turns around one of these corners, he will be lost to you.
And we're technically still underwater, right?
There's no technically about it. You are literally underwater.
We're okay.
Physically underwater.
I'm going to come back into the room, and we should probably see what's up above us before we go in there. I'll explain what I saw. There's a path down and a path... You said it went up, or it just went straight ahead into a cave?
The path right just goes straight into a cave. Opens up into a cavern, similar to the one that you just left.
Alright, well, Red will motion for everyone else to stay still and swim up until he can poke his head out of the pool.
Okay.
Birdie will hand the torch to
No,
Adrex.
don't. I don't want... Oh, okay.
To Adrex.
Yeah, sorry, you were moving towards me. Really don't want any light. Thank you.
As you swim upwards, a good 30 or 40 feet or so. Actually, more than that, probably. You realize that the orange light must be firelight, which on the other side of this room, either something is on fire or it's standard torchlight. And if it's torchlight, it probably means the room is occupied. If you poke your head up out of the water, you will not be able to do so without being seen if the room is indeed occupied.
That's fine.
Okay, poke your head up out of the water.
I'll go to the far end from where the... Is there like an obvious ledge where the water comes down to the... where you would climb out? Or is it even...
There is. It's on this edge of the room.
Okay, so I'll swim over to the opposite wall and poke my head up out there.
Okay. Roll a stealth check at disadvantage.
That would be a 22. No, 24.
24. Okay.
Here we go with the hilarious vitamin K shenanigans.
So you poke your eyes above the water. You look into a dim room, which... Excuse me 1 second. There it is. Looks to be a small barracks. You see some bedrolls laid out on the floor. Mm-hmm. And there is, in fact, the glowing embers of a small cook fire in the center of the room. There's also a pair of torch sconces on the walls here and here.
Mm-hmm.
And you do see 5 Malisons in this room of various types. Several of them are asleep. The other 2 look to be turning a spit over this small cook fire. None of them look very attentive. One of them casts a kind of lazy glance in your direction. He's not looking at you. You're hidden in the darkness in the back of the room. But you can tell he's be able to notice the rippling along the pool of water that you've disturbed. So he's kind of looking curiously at where the pool meets the stone floor.
How high is the ceiling?
Pretty close, about 12 feet maybe.
And is it a cavern or is this worked stone?
This is a cavern. And you see along the right-hand wall here is an entryway leading off to another room. And the Yuan-ti gets to his feet. Oh, you know what? I got to roll to see what kind of Malison it is, I suppose. It would have to be one of the ones with arms, because he's about to go take a torch sconce off the wall. One of the snake-headed Malisons stands and fetches the torch from off the wall, and he begins moving towards the pool.
I'll dive back down under the water.
Okay. And as Red comes back down, the rest of you see the illumination of the torch being held up over the water as this Yuan-ti is gazing out at the ripples. But you guys are too far. Well, no, you're holding a magical blue torch. So let's roll initiative.
Oh,
You guys seen this?
what I was saying. Yeah, vitamin K shenanigans.
Whoa!
Oi!
That was not done rolling.
Alright,
All
I
right.
have to be very careful that I do this properly, because I have the Malisons color-coded. Because for some reason I was thinking this would help my tired existence, but in reality it probably will not. So the red are snake-headed Malisons. The blue are the snake-armed Malisons. The green are the ones that have a snake torso and tail instead of legs.
So snake butt.
None of you have fought Yuan-ti before, but Red, you would know what the various types of Malisons are capable of.
Mhm.
The ones with snake heads, they have arms, they can carry things. They're typically armed with, they're excellent shots with their longbows because they have human eyes. But they're able to bite with a poisonous bite, as though a snake. The ones with snake arms are not able to carry weapons, but they get 2 bites, which are, again, poisonous. And the ones with torsos are perhaps the most dangerous because they can wrap their tails around you and constrict. Okay, let me paste this in my scratch file. I gotta roll some dice to see what kind of Malisons these all are.
That sounded like really important information, and I saw something shiny.
I rolled
Again, you
really
think-
well on initiative.
You think I'm role-playing, Adrex?
No, no one thinks that.
We already had a green one up there. That's cool.
We love you just the way you are, McDohl.
Why, though?
Because if you changed, we'd have to remember it.
Okay, so he had come up to the edge with a torch sconce. There's another one of them asleep. 3, 4, and then another one in the center of the room. So yeah, right, you descend back down into the pool, and you guys see the illumination of this snake-headed Malison peering out over the water, and he immediately sees the glow in the bottom of the pool, and very swiftly, you see his head disappear. So we're going to start with snake heads, one of which is surprised because he's asleep. This one was not asleep. The other one that was awake near their little cook fire comes up to the edge of the pool and just drops something into it with a kerplunk, and it starts sinking
I don't love that.
down into the water. And the blue one is surprised because he was also asleep, and he vanished from sight. That's going to bring us to Windy to start with.
Alright. I'm going to grab whatever they just dropped and throw it back out of the water.
Okay.
I don't love anything that they're throwing in here. Do not want it.
Okay. You can't see it, though.
Can I hear it?
What kind of stuff can you do with key points? Is there any non-combat stuff you can do with key points
Oh, there are so many things I can do with key points.
that don't involve combat? What I'm getting at
yeah.
here is, like, I'm going to require you to make an active perception check to try to locate this object before it hits the ground. but I
Sure.
would allow you to spend a key point to do something with it.
What if
Do this
I
crazy monk bullshit.
What if I spend a key point to use the sense that I would normally use to catch a thrown object that I couldn't see? To catch this thrown object that's going through the water.
This wasn't a thrown object. This was a drop.
No, I
object.
know it's different. That's why I'm asking if that would be equivalent.
What's your intention upon grasping this object? You have to make this decision before you know what it is.
I'm gonna pop back out of the water and toss it back to them.
Okay. Go ahead and make an active perception check to locate this object, and then I'll let you spend a key point to throw it back up out of the water at them.
You got it. Love making perception.
But I mean, if it's a sack of gold, then
Oh fuck! You're right. That's a 24.
24. Okay.
Yeah.
With some difficulty, you do manage to swim upwards and find the correct location, and it dropped faster than you were expecting, but you managed to grasp it.
All right, and I'm gonna pop back up out of the water and toss it back to them.
Okay, so are you coming all the way up out of the water yourself
Yeah.
to this position here?
Yes.
And as you do not see this one in the room anymore. These three here are waking up out of their bedrolls and grabbing their nearby arms. The red one has a scimitar, the blue one has snake for arms, and these green ones here also have scimitars and longbows.
All right, whatever the hell this thing is, I'm gonna toss it right here.
Okay. And you toss it right there, and you realize it's a glass vial that breaks on the stone. And it emits a small cloud of gas that begins to dissipate almost immediately. And they don't seem to be affected by it.
All right.
Is that the
It's
end of
fine
Woody's
without
turn?
me. I'm good here.
It's going to bring us to Birdie.
How tall? How long? How deep am I? If I was near the bottom.
Probably about 50 feet or so.
Okay.
40 or 50 feet.
And I'm going to cutting action dash, so it'll get me 30, 45, 20, 40. I can get about 10 feet under the surface, so I'll do that.
Okay. And
And
you're
I'll,
staying near to the wall?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of just going up from here, basically.
And red.
So how far down did I make it before initiative started?
About halfway, maybe.
How far back down? Okay, so that should give me enough movement to pop up over here.
Okay.
And then is Windy next to this one?
Bless you.
Yeah, that's where she came up.
YW, man. I did it for you. I do it all for you. Did Destil mute himself?
It's possible.
That'll hit an armor class of 15.
15 will hit.
Okay. It's gonna do 24 points of damage.
2 old snake arms here.
Is there any air moving in this cavern?
No, it's very still.
Let's go ahead and give Windy advantage on our next attack against this one.
Okay.
That's the end of Red's turn.
Adrex, you're down at the bottom of the pool holding this torch, and you're not able to swim.
Adrex, it takes 5 minutes to get our armor off.
Sure. That's not what Adrex wants to do, though. Adrex's plan.
Oh God.
Excuse me. Because all I can really think of him for it to do is to be a decoy. And as the only person around here who very much has the target, he's just going to spend his action and his movement to run around in circles at the bottom of the pool in an effort to give additional cover and distraction to the people up top who can actually move around and attack them without any issue.
Okay.
Good plan.
Thanks.
Bring us to.
That was sarcastic, by the way.
That's gonna bring us to Raazu.
See, my sarcasm detector isn't busted, so I knew that.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. Adrex has the blue glowy torch to make distractions. Raazu has no such option.
Okay.
Get you guys a harpoon next time.
Yeah.
Can you just climb the wall?
Let's see. So my movement is halved and then halved again. Am I interpreting that correctly?
Correct. You could climb the
It-
wall, but it would take a long time.
And I would be a sitting
And
duck.
you would have to. I mean, I'm sure you could make the athletics checks going up.
You would not be a sitting duck because Adrex has the torch. If they're going to aim after anyone, it's going to be Adrex.
Raazu can move 1 square per turn because half and half again is like 7 feet.
But if you
We'll come back
dash,
for you, Raazu.
Oh, I'll dash. Yeah. That was a great turn.
So that's 3 squares, 13 feet, 15, 14 feet.
Nice work, man.
Half and half again? No, that's only 30 feet to 15 feet
yeah.
to 7 feet.
But like half and half again of.
Don't worry
60
about it.
Okay.
Then I start climbing up the wall, I guess.
Okay. Red.
Mm-hmm.
As Mal is sitting up out of his bedroll, grabs for his longbow and his scimitar, and begins striding towards you with his mouth opening menacingly. You can see his fangs dripping with venom until he realizes what you are, and he seems a little startled. But then he decides that poison immunity or no, his sword will do just as well. I have a 15 to hit you,
Nope.
and I have a 23 to hit you
Yes.
for 6 points of slashing damage. As he
Just go
brings
ahead and
his-
uncanny that down to 3.
Okay, he brings his scimitar down on top of you. Windy.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, you know he's not moving towards you. That'd be stupid. He's gonna move away from you. He's
What?
gonna move towards you. Because the blue one doesn't have a bow and the green one does. Windy, I have a 17 to hit
No.
and a 16.
No.
And the bowman, I have a 22
Yeah, I'll hit.
and a 6.
No.
5 points of piercing damage,
Actually, instead of that,
plus
check this out.
12 points of poison damage.
Instead of that, how about if instead I took that arrow, hucked it back at him, and he took what? Nothing, because I can't roll for shit.
Nodal.
Oh wait, I have advantage
Is that
on
an
him.
attack? Is that
Yeah,
an
I have
attack?
advantage on my next attack.
You have advantage on your next attack against this specific guy.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay, this is
It's
the one who
the other
shot you
guy.
back here.
Oh, I can't see him.
No. So you're rolling a disadvantage against him with a ranged attack.
No, I'm not gonna throw it at him. I'm gonna throw it at this guy.
You have to throw it at the person who launched it at you?
No, why? I've killed people with all kinds of stuff. Because if I kill all the people that shoot things at me, who's gonna shoot things at me next turn? That's a 15 to hit.
15 hits.
Or a quick 10 magical piercing.
And
Deduct that key point.
I have a 21 to hit you.
That'll still hit, yeah.
And a 22 to hit you.
Oh no. Ah, gee.
As Snake Arms gets into the fray.
Oh, Snake Arms. He's so good at hugging.
His first arm's bite does 4 points of piercing damage,
Okay.
plus 5 points of poison.
Oh!
And the second one, the right arm, 7 points of piercing damage, plus 4 points of poison.
And Wendy squawks louder than is perhaps necessary because she's trying not to reveal she's super immune to poison.
Wendy squawks?
She's a bird.
I used to have respect for Wendy. I don't anymore. That's going to bring us to Wendy's turn.
That's what it took. Squawking.
Squawking. That's all it took.
The noodly appendages are real.
I'm going to toss a couple of sharpshooter shots at this one right here.
Are you still in the water?
I'm gonna hop out.
Okay, hop out to where?
Give a quick flap. Pop out right here.
Okay.
Flip over their head. Do sick monk shit. Sick bird monk shit. Everyone loves bird monk shit. Ooh, that'll be nice. That's a 16 and a 21.
Okay.
To hit.
One of those shots has advantage, not both of them, though.
No, those were 2 shots.
Right. But the second shot
So-
should be at disadvantage because you're blind.
No, I got my key.
Okay, but you didn't say you used it.
Okay, I used my key.
Okay. Both of those hit.
Yeah. And the first one didn't have advantage anymore, unfortunately. That's 22 and 17, both magical piercing.
And he is bloodied. And you can see the look on Snake Arm's face, especially, that they have woefully underestimated you. But it's not a look of fear, it's one of resolve. Like, that's not a mistake they're going to continue to make. Moving or staying
Alright.
put?
I'm staying put.
Birdie.
Right. I'm going to go up the last, I guess, 5 feet to break the surface, and then I'm going to shoot. So,
Are you in the water when you shoot?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to impose disadvantage if you're shooting from the surface of the water while trying to tread water at the top.
Okay. All right. So I just don't get advantage then.
Mhm.
Pack tactics. All right. So just to verify, the red ones are the snake bodies and booties. The green is the snake heads, and the blue is the snake arms.
Blue is snake arms, red is snake head, green is snake tail.
Okay, so I got it wrong. I got that backwards. All right, so I'm going to shoot this guy.
Okay.
And that's a crit. 1, 2, 3,
Poor Snake Man who did nothing wrong.
5, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 6. Watch me roll all ones.
Very not. Holy shit, that's some numbers.
So that's 56 piercing magical.
And he is
Oh, that's cheap.
bloodied after one arrow. Red, you just see him recoil as Birdie's arrow find purchase in his neck. Birdie, you moving or staying put?
I'm fine here.
Okay, it's going to bring us to Red.
All right. Let's see here. So we have Adrex doing a little dance.
Yep.
Raazu's 14 feet up the cliff Birdie
Raazu's
treading
like
water.
5 feet up the cliff.
and trying to take pot shots, and Wendy doing ridiculous monk things over here. Did I cover everything that's happening?
Yeah, that's
correctly?
exactly what's happening.
Okay. Which one of these did Birdie shoot?
The one
Birdie's
next
not
to
the
you.
one who was on you.
The one I cannot stab effectively. Nice.
I figured I'd cover you while you did other
Yeah.
did other like violent things to the ones.
Let's move to here. Take a stab at this guy.
Okay.
Rapier. That'll hit an armor class of 27.
27 will hit.
Okay. Yeah. Just go ahead and deal 19 damage.
19. That's almost 20.
I'll give Birdie advantage on his next shot against the one that he just shot last turn.
Okay.
As a bonus action, that's the end of Red's turn.
All right, that's going to bring us to Adrex.
Oh man, are you ready for this?
I am ready.
I got it.
I can't wait.
It's really good. This is the best idea.
I have an idea. I think I know what you might want to be trying to do. It's brilliant.
Uh-oh. Now I'm concerned, because it's actually a really dumb idea.
Exactly.
Alright. Wand of Pyrotechnics, go!
That wasn't what I was thinking.
Yeah! Eric's just going to shoot off the Wand of Pyrotechnics.
So what is this wand supposed to do that's not going to do because you're underwater?
While holding it, you can use it as an action to expend one of its charges to create a harmless burst of multicolored light at a point you can see up to 60 feet away.
Okay, so you can break the surface of the water with it.
Exactly. This burst of light is accompanied by crackling noise that can be heard up to 300 feet away.
Okay.
No.
So there is suddenly a brilliant flash of light and a loud crackling boom engulfing the southern area of the room above this pool of water.
I got 6 more charges, guys.
Okay.
So, this is supposed to be the Metal Gear Solid dungeon.
No, it's not.
Just pointing that out.
No,
No,
it's
it isn't?
not.
I thought
Nope.
it was.
Well, good, because we'd all be dead now.
Anyone that comes, I'm throwing them into Adrex.
That's actually a good idea.
Is that the end of
Adrex
Adrex's
move.
turn?
Adrex, moves. Maybe that'll get their attention.
That's going to bring us to Raazu.
Alright, so my movement is halved because I'm underwater, and it's because no swim speed. It's halved because I'm wearing heavy armor, and now I'm climbing, which is another half, so I'm moving at about, let's say, 1 square per movement action, yeah? Generously
Thereabouts.
speaking. Alright, so now I am 15 feet up the wall. That ends Raazu's
I'm going to
turn.
say the penalty for swimming and climbing are not cumulative, though.
Okay, then I can
Yeah, you
get
get some
another
buoyancy
swim.
that actually would help you climb.
Okay. Go ahead and
I
make
am
a
20 feet
strength
up.
athletics check. To hold the
Luckily,
wall.
I am trained in these. Oh god, it tried to go for that too. It really did. That's a 24.
Okay. And it's difficult going because of your weight, but it's a natural cavern wall, so there's plenty of handholds and footholds to find. But you're thinking, man, they could just throw us a rope.
Seems like
You
they're
hear a loud
more-
crash from on the other side of this hallway, and a cloud of dust is kicked into the room. And now let's go ahead and stab some of you guys.
Love stabbing guys.
Red. I have a 9 to hit you
Nope.
and a 23 to hit you
That is a hit me.
for 9 points of slashing damage from his scimitar.
Which guy was that?
The red guy here.
Okay, and what's the blue one have?
He's got snakes for arms.
Yeah, let's go ahead and have that 9.
Okay.
Don't every time I hear it.
Windy. I have a 17 to hit you
No,
and a 23 to hit you.
that'll hit.
Go ahead and take 7 points of bludgeoning damage,
Oh,
and you are grappled by this Malison as he whips his tail around you and begins constricting. Escape DC is 18. While you're grappled in this way, you're also restrained.
alright.
And the other guy is going to bring his scimitar down on you, since the longbow doesn't work. I have a 13 to hit you,
No,
and a 16 to hit you.
no.
And it's a good thing it didn't. This one's got his tail around your torso. This one is trying to wrap it around your neck. If both of these Malicens constrict you at once, you're going to start suffocating.
That's no good.
No, it's not. But other than that, then Snake Arms gets to try to bite at you. Which is not going to be effective, but he doesn't know that.
Because of the
I have a
Tactical
21
squawking.
tactical squawking, yes. there
Yeah,
you go.
that'll hit.
and a 16
No.
for 6 points of piercing damage from Snake Arms' bite. And you are being remarkably dexterous for somebody who's being held in place by a constricting tail.
I'm a monk, damn it.
Also, she's a bird, and she's like 90% feathers. It's like grabbing a little dog that's all floof. It's like
Red,
Mm-hmm.
you see a ferocity in these remaining Yuan-ti in this room that you recognize as nothing less than religious zealotry.
Mm-hmm.
These guys will fight to the death if needs be. And that's going to bring us to Windy.
All right. Well, I could try to escape,
You could.
or this is the one that has me grappled.
Yes.
I'm going to stab the shit out of him.
He is fairly well wounded already.
Uh-huh. That's a 14 to hit
Yes.
for a quick 10 slashing magical.
And he is dead. You feel the tail go slack around your torso.
All right, going to spin around and let loose a couple of kicks.
At the other
That's actually no. Wait, if I do that, then I won't be able to see next turn. I'm just going to let loose a kick and do a cloak.
one? Okay.
That's only a 11 to hit.
And he slithers deftly out of your way. Are you staying put there?
I'm good here.
All right. It's going to bring us to Birdie, who is still treading water at the back of the room. With the pyrotechnics show going off above his head and the blue laser light show going off below.
So I have advantage and then double. I have double advantage and one disadvantage. So that should be regular advantage. Let's see if I can get another crit. That'd be great, right?
On who?
This guy,
Okay.
the same guy, red guy. Because red gave me advantage on him. So that is a 17 plus 9, 26 to hit.
That'll hit.
And for a total of 25 piercing magical.
And he is also dead. He slumps to the floor. You hear the clatter as his scimitar hits the stone.
And I'm going to, let's see, so I was here, so that'd be what, about 10 feet? I'm going to get up on the,
Climb up on
yeah.
the stone.
and just hang out here.
Take up position behind Red.
Yep.
Red, suddenly your world is filled with the smell of wet kobold. And that's going to bring us to Red.
Yep, let's go ahead and stab this guy.
Stabby, stabby.
That'll hit an armor class of 15.
15 will hit. Wow.
37 damage.
37, and he is bloodied. As you plunge your blade into him.
So as a bonus action, give Windy advantage against next attack against the one that has her grappled or constrained or whatever.
Oh, he's dead.
And move to that.
She killed the one that constrained him.
Oh, but the other one that could constrain her though.
Mhm.
So the green one, and that's the end of Red's turn.
Okay.
Stay there in that case.
That's going to bring us to Adrex.
Well, Adrex is just mad and frustrated now, so he's gonna just drop the torch and start climbing
Okay.
out of sheer pissed offness.
Make me a strength athletics check.
All right. It'd be really funny if you just blew this. No, that's a 23.
And it's slow and difficult going, but you've got the muscles to hang to this wall. But it's going to take several turns to get up there. Raazu?
Oh, it's gonna be long gone by that time.
Raazu is now 35 feet up.
Okay. Let's get a strength athletics check.
What are those dice even doing? That's a 21.
Okay. And you're flying coming up the wall.
I like watching you guys roll on these black spaces because they do weird things.
Yeah, I need to really not do that anymore.
Windy.
Yeah.
I have a 12
No.
and a 21
That'll hit.
for 9 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are grappled and restrained. As this one here now wraps his tail around you,
Okay, listen, I get it.
giving
I'm very lovable.
the
but
blue
calm
one
down.
advantage on his 2 attacks. That's a 20
Alright.
and a 23.
Right.
His first bite is 7 points of piercing damage,
Okay.
and the second bite is 7 points of piercing damage.
Oh, okay.
And I double the poison damage, but it's still 0.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
You spent a lot of the previous day contemplating how the Malicins with snake for arms must have to feed their arms, and now you're starting to get how they do it. This must be. So even though you're immune to the poison, you're still aware of the venomous.
It's just very
effects.
unpleasant.
Yeah, being eaten to death by a snake. That's going to bring us to Wendy.
I'd be terrified if fear wasn't just a signal sent from the brain for the body. And I don't know why I threw a dice without even saying what I was going to do. I don't know what my plan was there.
Are you imposing cipher penalty now? Is that what's happening?
I just, I'm going to toss out I think I'm going to do a longsword swing and a punch. You gave me advantage on this guy, Red?
The green one.
Yeah, so we'll call that the longsword. It was a bad roll, so. I don't feel bad about that. 10 magical slashing.
Okay.
And another punch for a miss. And then I think I'm going to flurry of blows and go in for 2 more punches.
Okay.
Come on now. 12
12 will hit.
for another 7
Okay.
magical bludgeoning.
And you start tearing the scales off of this Malicin's torso with your blows. And you're not moving anywhere because your speed is 0. That's going to bring us to Birdie again.
Okay, I'm going to move here.
Moving here, you're able to see through this doorway. And you see where the door, the little passage goes maybe 10 feet or so, and then turns to the left. However, there's a great amount of dust in the air, as though the crash you heard a moment ago was coming from this hallway.
Huh, okay. Well, in that case, since I can't... I'm assuming that the dust is why I can't see down the hallway.
Well, you can't see down the hallway because after 10 feet it turns left, and you don't have a periscope.
Right, okay, that's fine. Shoot the blue guy.
Okay.
We need to install a periscope on Birdie.
That is a 21 to hit.
Bolted to his head.
21
like a
will hit.
motherfucker.
This is almost certainly it for blue guy, by the way.
30 points piercing
He
magical.
is deadzo.
Birdie would be okay with that if it was a magical periscope.
And moving or staying put?
I'm fine.
Okay. That's going to bring us to red.
Yeah, let's go ahead. moved over here and take a rapier stab.
Okay.
Sorry, Birdie, because of cutbacks, we can just get you a magical periwinkle.
That hits an armor class of 15.
That'll hit. Sorry, I was distracted by... Never mind.
Yeah, don't. You're not part of this. Get out of here. For a total of 30 piercing damage.
30 piercing damage, and that's enough for him. As you stab him in his back, as he's focus his attention on Windy, and Windy, you feel the tail go slack.
Stretch out my wings. Alright, no more hugs.
And the room would be silent now, except for the fading, crackling sound of pyrotechnics having been set off.
Are we off initiative?
Yeah, for the time being.
Okay.
And after a
I'm
few
going
more
to-
moments, Raazu reaches up with her arms and hoists herself up out of the water.
Yeah,
was-
and me and Birdie, I think, have the same plan here.
I was going to snake a rope down to Adrex.
Yep,
Okay.
and I'll help you pull him out.
What's next?
Raazu looks a little infuriated and says, "So the silent approach we're not taking then?
What do you mean?
I thought that's what the deal was."
Well, I mean, nobody's left to hear us.
Red's going to be investigating the bodies and the equipment that they had set up here. Is there anything other than just the anything other than what they were carrying that's relevant?
Looks like just a standard barracks room. But there are more bedrolls on the floor than you saw Yuan-ti in here.
Yeah.
You count a good dozen or so bedrolls laid out, and then a few more that are rolled up and stashed along one of the walls. But there are only 5 in the room. There's a little
Also-
cook fire in the center. Each one of them had the appropriate weapons. The ones that had arms to use them had scimitars and longbows. And you find 3 more vials, those little glass vials, the likes of which, one of which lays shatter on the floor here where Windy had thrown it. You find 3 more of them, and it looks like very fine sand that you mistake for liquid at first.
Do I recognize it as any sort of poison I've ever seen before?
You don't. Not
I'm
right off the
just
bat.
gonna pocket those.
Okay.
Wendy relates the effect that she heard when she tossed it.
And by this point, there's no more trace of the little cloud that had kicked up. With very careful observation, because yeah, Adrex is standing there with the light, you do see some very dim green residue on the ground. Birdie, you're going down the hallway?
I'm just standing in the doorway right now.
Okay.
I was waiting for. I was going to peek around the corner.
Birdie, let me go in front, because if they toss any more of those vials at us, I can try to catch them.
Okay. I mean, you can't see, but okay.
Birdie, here's the
What
deal.
does that have
though.
to do with catching things?
Just because there's not people directly in front of you doesn't mean they don't exist.
That's wonderful. Thank you for that. Birdie just looks at her strangely.
You're acting under the assumption that these 5 people were the only 5 people in this whole place, which is
No, I'm not.
patently false.
That's why I'm going to look around the corner and see if there's more.
So, Birdie, you glance around the corner, and you see a large stone block has been dropped, barring the passage. You cannot see beyond it. There's not enough space along the side or above it to squeeze past. Looking up, if you hold your torch up high, you can see the cavity where this block has dropped from, and on the floor in front of it you see wooden splinters where these bracing poles had been holding it up, but had been broken somehow as the one of the Yuan-ti retreated out through the hallway. And this passage is now closed to you.
Raazu lets out a sigh and says, "Silent approach it isn't then."
Well, Birdie explains the path left and right down there again in the water. I guess we're going back in the drink.
Raazu looks very, very mad.
Do we have any way to get any leverage and lift that up? Is it square or is it taller than it is wide?
It's taller than it is wide.
So if we were to flip it over somehow, we might be able to squeeze through the top.
Well, if you give me some time, I could try to chisel away at the ground underneath it. Maybe we could tip it that way. But it would tip in this direction.
Right. We'd want to use a rope to pull it.
You don't have space to get a rope around it.
we could nail a pit into the block itself.
Is it shovable? Can Adrex shove it?
You throw your shoulder into it and try to move it, and it's not. It's extremely heavy. This thing is many, many tons. Chances of moving this without some sort of monumental Herculean effort are pretty minimal.
What about with a block and tackle?
Again, you don't have any space to get a rope around it to tie it up and hoist it.
Okay.
Man, I just got up here, and now I gotta go back down.
On the plus side,
not only do you have to go back down, but we have to take our arm off our armor in order to get through there. So that means we're going to be sitting.
Does 15 continue on the river?
Yes, if you continue down 15, you're leaving the site and continuing upriver to good Lord knows where.
on the plus side, this is now a pretty safe place to take a rest.
Well, assuming they don't come through that other entrance or some other passage.
Hey, if they want to come through and let us shoot the hell out of them, I'm down.
If you want to take a short rest, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Raazu kind of rolls her shoulders. She says, "I could use a rest, but I'm also."
It's going to take us a while to. It's going to take us a while to figure our way through that passage, regardless. So I don't think we lose that much time.
You're going to take a short rest? Who amongst you is not immune to poison?
Raazu.
Adrex.
Birdie.
Raazu, Adrex, and Birdie. Go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no, I'm gonna be poisoned.
I'm gonna blip that because I do not want to get fucked over this early in the dungeon.
What the hell is
Are
that?
you guys close to Raazu?
Yeah, you get +4 to this if you're next to me.
Haha, nat 20. Indomitable came through! Yay!
So proud of
I'm
you.
so happy!
17 for Birdie.
Okay, you're looking for a 13. It's not incredibly high. Everybody make it?
27.
You guys sit down to take your rest and lick your wounds from the combat you've had so far. And there's an odor begins lingering in the air. And you realize that the back of the room, up in this direction, what looks like mist or fog is starting to seep into the room. Adrex, Raazu, and Birdie, you start coughing as it starts to fill the space, and you realize that they're poisoning the chamber.
God damn it.
And it will not be possible to rest in here.
Can I go over and take a look at the mechanism releasing that mist?
Make an investigation check.
Sure.
Well, I'm gonna dive in the water.
Okay. Sploosh.
I did a wonderful cannonball, by the way.
That's an 11.
An 11?
Yeah.
10, 12 feet above you, up where the ceiling meets the high wall. Every few feet in this chamber, you see a small wooden slat, and this seems to be where the fog is creeping in from.
Mm-hmm.
And you, putting it together, all they would need is some kind of piping system throughout the compound, and they could direct this smoke wherever they want it to go. The good news is, without some kind of driving mechanism, which they're not going to be able to flood the entire chamber in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
It's relatively weak poison. You're pretty sure that staying in it wouldn't be fatal to your companions, but they wouldn't be able to take a rest.
What if they were just in the water?
Is it heavier than air?
Here.
It just seems to be listing around the top of the chamber for now,
Listen,
as it slowly spreads
we're
out.
gonna get if we're gonna continue anywhere. Adrex and I have to take off our arm.
Hold
Take
that
5
thought.
minutes?
Why does everyone else get under the surface of the water for a minute?
Everyone else? I mean,
Yep.
not Adrex and...
No, everyone.
Or-
No, not everyone other than Red.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Sploosh! Sink, 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 sink.
Is this like
Yeah.
I am really getting frustrated, you guys.
Are you sure? Because like
Yeah.
I'm probably.
I won't be
fine.
long.
All right.
Red's gonna climb up to the wall and see if he can ignite the poison mist with a torch and a flint and tackle.
You hold a flame up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Or are you trying to just to spark it with your flint?
Holding a flame up to it, starting the torch.
If you hold the torch up to it, no, it's not flammable and it doesn't ignite.
Okay.
Does Red even have eyebrows to worry about with such an enterprise?
No. Fred will drop into the water.
Adrex starts taking off his armor in the water.
Should we find out where this goes before you guys take off your...
Well, we got nowhere else to go.
Well, there's nowhere else for us to go. We're gonna.
Yeah.
You guys can find out what it is while we take.
We might be able to get around to the other side and open up that passage.
All right.
There might be a hidden entrance somewhere that will be larger.
We'll have to climb our asses back up.
You guys can bundle your armor and drag it along with you through that passage if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Well, plus, let's find out if there's a space on the other side for even to put it back on safely.
Yeah, let them
Let them
investigate
do
first.
that while we're taking the 5 minutes to take armor off.
Okay.
Where's the token for the... There it is.
I'm gonna stay here with you guys because I'm not gonna be much use with them anyway. And
Yeah,
anything
your
that
ring makes squeezing through this probably problematic.
You want to go left or right?
Always go
That's-
left.
Okay.
Always go left.
Yeah.
And the tunnel continues for maybe 20 feet or so, and then drops down, descends. And as it descends, the tunnel stays this tight, uniform square the whole way.
And this is cut stone?
Yes, this is worked
Okay.
and remarkably smooth.
And filled with water?
Yes, still submerged. This would be a very bad place for your water breathing to wear off.
Good thing we've still got like 18 hours.
Unless there's an anti-magic shell in here somewhere.
No, that would be bad.
Yeah, that's not something I would do, right?
Red, why don't you go first?
Yeah, the
You're a
passage,
lot better at moving in this. I have to squeeze.
the passage continues forward, and then eventually it turns to the right. As you move down this next passage, you can see that it opens into a small cavern in front of you. The water gets noticeably colder in this direction.
So we actually have some room in here. But again, I'm assuming these are the same size as the other ones?
Yes, there's one that goes off this way, and then there's one that ascends upward through the ceiling. Looking in this tunnel here, there's a flow to the water in this room. It's not stagnant. It's flowing in very gently from this space and piled up right where you're standing. You see what you first think is sediment as you see it creeping through the tunnel. But as you come into the room and hold the light, you realize you're looking at tiny little fleshy bits of organic material, bone and meat. A few strands of cloth. The water coming from this tunnel is extremely cold.
Cover the lamp for a second.
Yep.
If I swim over here, can I see any light at the end of this tunnel?
Excellent question. You cannot, no.
And what about from the one with the cold water coming through it?
No,
No, not from that direction either.
All right. I'd say I'm just going to kind of motion toward this one.
Okay. I've got it stowed, so I just put
Okay.
it over there.
Okay.
We don't want to repeat of what happened last time. We can learn from our mistakes.
And right, you're swimming upwards?
Yep.
And squeezing yourself upwards through this watery chimney, the water gets warmer and warmer as you go. And eventually it levels off and opens into another tiny little pool. Much shallower than the first few that you'd seen. And you do in fact see torchlight up above the surface of the pool, looking up from below. You're about 20 feet or so from the surface. At the bottom of this pool, on the floor here, it's littered with bones and various other detritus, and you see probably their refuse shaft.
Give me a second to look at something. I'm trying to remember all the stuff that fell out of my backpack when we had that incident on the ship. I'm not sure if I have a certain item I used to have.
The incident.
I think I don't.
Look
Do you
at
have a
that
mirror,
all
Birdie?
day.
Yeah, I do. Here.
Can you attach it to something and raise it over the water and take a look without popping your head up?
Mm,
Can you get a razor blade out?
the only thing that I have, I guess I could tie it to. Trying to look and see, do I have anything that would work with?
I mean, I've got a long probe on my thieves' tools. Like, if you just need a long wooden probe.
Oh, I was just going to use my shovel, but okay.
That works too.
But yeah, or crowbar, something like that. But I'll do as he asks.
So you're going to go up to the surface and use a mirror to try to peer into the room?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make a stealth check.
Now, you do have a periscope.
Make the stealth check at disadvantage, because you still have to push it up over the surface of the water.
In your face, Raazu.
I'm glad you have such high regard for me.
So that's an 8 plus 13. So 21.
Okay. You see what look like guards posted at the door. And standing on either side of this doorway, watching the pool. And as soon as you see them, I mean, you slide the mirror back down so as not to disturb the surface of the water as much as you can. But you do see this doorway leading out to a hall. And they seem very hurried, like they've only just arrived in this space.
Okay. I'm pointing down to indicate maybe we should check this hole out.
Red will nod and follow you. Once we're back into this chamber, I'll whisper, what was up there?
2 guards.
Okay.
One, I don't remember which is which, but yeah. All the snake people look the same to me. Slightly racist.
Ouch.
Sneersons.
Hurts.
Going into this room?
Yeah.
Going through this tunnel. It opens into a deep shaft that looks like it was one of these small natural caverns, but it's been widened. You can see where it does have a surface, but you can't see beyond it because it looks as though it's frozen over. And as you get into the room, you both suffer 2 points of cold damage.
So I suffer 1 point of cold damage because I have my nifty hat still.
I'll immediately motion to Birdie, turn around myself, and swim back out after taking the cold damage.
Yeah.
What was strange about being in that room, you guys were at the bottom of it, but there was another. You can see where there's been several layers of this sediment in the bottom of it. These fleshy bits, bones and whatnot. Scraps, small scraps of cloth. Looking up through the shaft to the frozen surface, it was as though you weren't looking through liquid all the way up, but kind of a, not ice as though you would expect, but almost a gelatin kind of mush.
Oh.
Down at the bottom of the shaft, it was still very much liquid, but it was intensely cold.
Okay. Let's check that other passage.
Get my map on screen, huh? Coming into this room here, it opens up into another pool, the likes of which you've seen. Again, about 20 feet, maybe from the floor up to the surface. There is no light up above. However, dangling in front of you on heavy chains, you see 4 heavy lock boxes kind of sitting against the back wall. each one has a heavy chain coming out the top that goes up out of the water and out into the room somewhere. Other than that, they're just dangling there.
So it looks like
Probably more poison. Yeah.
Does it look like some like so the it looks like possibly like there's a they pull the chain from the top and it opens them?
No, it looks like it would open just like a standard lockbox of this kind would, but they'd have to hoist it up using the chain first of all.
I think they're storing them in water because it's not. This stuff isn't as easy to handle once it's in the air.
Okay. Do you want me to check the surface of the water in here?
Was there any light?
He said no.
No light.
Right. Let's go the rest of the way, and we'll check on the way back, in case we have to get out of there quickly.
Continue through the tunnel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you continue through this tunnel a good 30 or 40 feet until you come to a room entrance that has been blocked off with another one of these large stone blocks.
All right, let's. Yeah, if you want to swim up and take a quick look.
Same process as last time. Slip the mirror up and see if I can't see anything.
Okay, let's get a stealth check at disadvantage.
So that is a 25.
25.
Oh, the perception's 38. Sorry.
Looking into this room in your mirror, it is occupied by three Malisons. Oops, I didn't mean to get... There we go. I need a green one, not a blue one. I'm bad at this. There we go. Two of the snake-headed ones, again, guarding the entrance, facing into the pool. This green one is sitting at the base of the pool, and he's kind of stooped down with his hands around one of these chains, as though he's about to hoist it up. Again, they look like they've only just arrived in this room. And you see other features in the room, but in order to stand here for a few moments and look, you're going to have to sit here with this periscope, with this mirror poking up out of the water. And it will not take long, because they are alert and they are purposely scanning for intruders.
No, I'm not. These, right here, how are these attached to these lockboxes?
There's a chain bolted to the top of each one. And as you come back down, the one on the far right starts to be hoisted up out of the water. And after a few moments, the Malison, who is at the top, pulls it up out.
Is there any way we could quickly unattach these?
Quickly? Probably not.
It's probably, like, Red, I'll point at them. Like, I think we should unattach these because they're hoisting them up.
Yeah, I think we should unattach at least one. So I don't have anything in my Thieves Toolkit that could make quick work of those chains or the...
You need something that can cut through the metal of these chains.
Could we just yank them down?
Probably not without causing a disturbance on topside and being immediately noticed. But it depends on how they're attached at the top, and you didn't have time to look.
All right.
Do you have a trap or anything you could put on one of these boxes?
Not really. Trying to think here what I got. I don't really have anything that would work in this situation, but I don't really want to deal with the slime thingies. I don't feel like fighting goo bags.
Yeah, I don't have any other ideas. All of my stuff is poison based.
And as you guys leave the room, you see the second of the four lock boxes also hoisted up.
Actually, I do have an idea.